Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here. Michelle is here on December 20th, 2025. And as these days are winding down on this year of 2025, I am putting out some reflections of 2025, as well as talking about certain things that people are discussing either with me or on the social media platform, blah, blah, blah. And so deconstruction and reconstruction, those are powerful things because it's like you are tearing down to build yourself back up from the ground up, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. And I'll explain what that means in a moment because, as I said on a couple of videos, a lot of this um, deconstruction, reconstruction, blah, 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 should have taken place during your adolescence, believe it or not. And so a lot of people are saying, may not agree with that, and that's fine. You don't have to. All I'm doing is looking at the results. I'm looking at the consequences. So I know, okay, I know. I mean, the math does add up when you consider it, and you're not defensive. You're not protecting stuff, protecting an image, protecting a reputation, or protecting blah 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 blah, whatever you're attempting to protect. And so when people are deciding to deconstruct, especially from the grips of religion, that is when a lot of things will get exposed to you, naturally get exposed to you, and then you'll you do not want to be despondent about things and become desperate, because when you realize that you've been made a fool of for decades, generations, millennia, that can be despondent. That can cause you to become despondent. So that's why you do not want to be desperate in these moments in time. And I know who I'm talking to, and I know who's listening, and so that gives me some comfort, because I know who I'm talking to and I know who's listening understand what I mean. They're not gonna necessarily put themselves in harm if they can avoid it. Sometimes things happen. So the deconstruction and the reconstruction, that is a slippery slope, as they say, and it's a balancing act, to where if you are intentionally deconstructing from religion, remember there's tentacles with that, because it's all energy anyway. Whether you call it religion, whether you call it Buddhism, it's all the same. Buddhism, or I think I'm saying it right. Islam, Christianity, Baptist, Catholic, it's all the same. So saying that you're leaving one to go to another is just a lateral move. You're gonna still be stuck and spinning. You're not gonna be happy. Okay, I know that you're not gonna be happy. Whether you move from Christianity to become a Catholic, there's gonna still be something burdening you. You're gonna have a burden that you're carrying, and you thought, I thought you thought religion was gonna take care of that for you, and you're realizing that's not the case at all. And so I told you, anything can become religious. Animal rescue is number one, in my opinion, and because of that, because of animal rescue, the majority, we've cost thousands upon thousands of animals, flora and fauna, to become extinct. Okay, don't battle me about that. Do your research. Like in California, I think in California, what's their theme? Let me see. That particular um, um, bear. It's a bear. I think, I can't remember. I don't keep up with all of that, but it's that particular bear that represents the state of California has gone extinct. No longer exists. Find it. I would love for you to. And Florida. Florida was known for oranges, right? Where are the oranges? I'm not going to go any further into that, because it goes once you start uncovering stuff and stuff gets exposed to you. That can become a religion if you don't balance yourself and just make sure you are consuming just so much that you can handle. Okay? When you denounce religion from your reality and no one has to know that you're doing that, you're going to be flooded with a whole lot of stuff. And so, again, you don't want to go from one obsession of delusion and hallucination to another. Religion is delusion, hallucination. That's what religion is. And so because of that, we didn't understand the powers of our thoughts regarding religion. We created this encasement of criminal negative energy. I've said that hundreds and thousands of times, possibly, with the videos I have out there. What I wanted to talk about as it continues on this path of deconstruction, when you decide to deconstruct, what is extremely, extremely important is you need to know where you're going to reconstruct to. Deconstructing, okay, that's powerful, but you're tearing down you're tearing down a reality that you've lived for possibly for most of your life, but you still have to develop yourself. You have to redevelop yourself. So what does that entail? I can help you with that. The projects I'm working on can help you with that. But those are the things you're going to have to consider and think about. You cannot... Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I just was looking at some news. Because of the things that are happening in the news, extremely, extremely troubling. Extremely. But at the same time, the damage has been done. There's not much any of us can do, especially on an individual basis. If we can collectively, but if we can't get along on the social media platforms, we can't get along with our neighbors, we can't get along with people we work with, we can't get along with people we live with. Come on, right? It's a daunting task. So that's why it's going to be an individual path. You're going to have to walk this alone. You're going to have to walk it alone. Get comfortable with that. I love it because I know where I'm headed. I've worked hard on myself to get to where I'm on solid ground, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. I don't mind walking alone, even if I have a partner, even if I am married. Thankfully, I have no kids. I think that's probably one of the biggest attributes of my developing. To understand what we are doing to this planet. Number one, and understand my accountabilities and responsibilities. My accountabilities and responsibilities does not say that I can damage the planet just for my own benefit. And sometimes that's what people are doing when they're having children. They didn't care. Look. Take it or leave it. I know, like I said, I know who I'm talking to, and I know you can handle this. Some people are having kids because it's trendy. Okay, and some people are pushing this narrative that there's a population decline, which is probably the biggest fraud. And this planet is going to suffer the catastrophic consequences of spreading that false narrative. Okay, we have almost 10 billion people on this planet, on a planet only suited to handle under a billion. Do the math. Our footprints all over this planet, all over every country, not to mention with our toys, our equipment, is destroying the planet. And then we have these idiots that have nothing more, nothing less than self-hatred, claiming that, they're trying to push a narrative of a certain race of people. And those are the people that are being replaced. I'm not saying anymore. That's been said enough. And then it gets blocked anyway. But I know it. I know my sound resonates. Even though my videos get blocked, my content gets blocked. I've been shadow banned, whatever that term is. There's something that has been figured out, something that has been formulated into the algorithms. Okay, for certain creators like myself. So I know, and I keep going. I keep it moving. So if you plan on deconstructing, which I said is a powerful, beautiful thing, you need to know what you're reconstructing to, however. You can't just, you can leave things empty, leave it, what's the term I'm saying? You can tear down your home, but you still need somewhere to stay. So you need to reconstruct it. That's literally, figuratively, metaphorically. You have to be able to understand how someone communicates to you in metaphors, idioms, figuratively, metaphorically. That helps to develop you as well, and it also helps you to understand. It's beautiful for me to understand because I learned a different way. I learned by what I see, how people. I pay attention to how people are doing things. That's how I learn. To be talking in my ears about, that intellectual bullshit, it just doesn't get through sometimes. And then a lot of people will say that call people stupid and dumb because, sometimes when people are rambling and these intellectual talking heads, they're the ones that like to hear themselves speak, always want to be the one talking. They don't want you talking at all. They want you to sit there and just listen to them ramble all day long. I'm not doing it. I interrupt that kind of conversation when someone's attempting to, because I know what people are attempting to do. I'm very skilled in what I do. I know what I'm doing. And so I know how, sometimes interrupting a pattern of behavior is how people can snap out of it as well. I can teach you all of that. So, but again, if you're going to deconstruct from one, especially that powerful hold of criminal negative energy of religion, you're going to need somewhere else to stay. So you're going to have to reconstruct yourself in a gentle fashion. You're going to be calm. You're going to be grounded. And again, you can reach out to people that can help you. So I am starting this day. I got so much to do. And, for me, nothing, this doesn't stop. Whatever I'm doing now, it doesn't stop. It keeps moving. There's so much rich material out there, so much rich knowledge out there that, of course, it has been hidden from us. But let me explain something about, and I said this before. There was something that happened, I think it was in the 1600s, where libraries were destroyed and burned to the ground. And those, think about who would benefit from you remaining dumbed down. Think about that. Who benefits from that? Usually it's the church. Okay, and our current administration, that's their whole agenda as well, to dumb us down. That's why they're interfering with the colleges. But that if you understand what it means to develop yourself, they can burn down the colleges. They can burn books because it's all about self-education anyway. And nothing, absolutely nothing is ever destroyed, even though we're destroying things on this planet. Okay, there's always going to be an amount of knowledge that is part of a particular planet. Even if that planet is destroyed, that storage bank of impulsation of energy, which is thoughts and everything else, remains. Nothing goes away. My face, my sounds and tones, my energy does not go anywhere. Just the only thing that changes is just like this sweater. I have been wearing the same sweater for a while because I've been too lazy to go to my storage unit and get more sweaters. But the weather is finally appearing to drop a little bit more. January can be very deceptive. You can get hit with extreme heat and you can get hit with extreme cold. So, and I lived on certain regions of the world, excuse me, where I experienced that. So I know January can be. I used to think January. Okay, when I lived on the East Coast. Okay, well, I used to believe that when January came through, okay, we don't need sweaters anymore. But that's changing. And the same thing about hurricanes. When I was in a particular place, and the hurricane season was supposedly over, and then we got hit with a massive hurricane. Okay, in the season where it's supposed to be over. So, and then on top of that, remember that hurricane that happened on the West Coast in California. A lot of people, that was unheard of, right? So our climate is destructing right before our eyes, but of course no one wants to see that. So I don't want to spend too much time. I want to just put out some bits and pieces. I got plenty of videos, but what I'm saying, the main thing I want you to take away from what I'm saying today, if you're deconstructing, that's a beautiful, powerful thing. But what are you going to reconstruct to? Okay, you need to start from the bottom up, not the top down. That's where we, it can be a daunting task. It can be dangerous too. So, dangerous to your consciousness, dangerous to your psyche, dangerous to your thoughts. And like I said, you leave religion and then you go into another religion of hoarding. You go into another religion of excessively exercising, or talking about that subject of exercising, excessiveness about what you're eating, the food. And and there's no such thing as healthy food, sorry, unless you're cultivating it yourself, however. So, but I'll talk about those things when I start meeting up with people face to face, so that I can answer your questions properly. I'm going to, on the stuff that I'm creating online, I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me questions, but, I know a lot of you are figuring it out. And so you're going to attempt to help others. And that's beautiful. That's what we're supposed to do. If you know something, say something. Great. We come up with great quotes, but we rarely live up to them. So deconstruction is a beautiful thing. No one needs to know that you're doing it, however. We all make mistakes. We all are misdirected, thinking we're supposed to go this way, but in actuality, we're supposed to have gone that way. Some people are making their livelihoods off of their fake personas, though. When they, a lot of people have these fake personas that they created out of unconsciousness, but they make the mistake and tied it to their livelihood. So when you start deconstructing that, how are you going to support yourself? So those are the kind of things that you need to be asking questions about. Again, you can reach out to me. I have plenty of videos out there. I have plenty of places where you can reach out to me to help you get through this, because, it's going to be a daunting task. And you just need a gentle push, a gentle reminder. And then you're going to be able to take it on yourself because you have to. This has to be an individual path, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love all over the stars and moon and mountains. Remember, universal love was always inclusive. We, as a humanity, divided it and turned it into commodities. Commodities as far as activism, certain rescue missions, certain food missions. All we need to do is just accept that, be kind and gentle with that, and figure out how to reconstruct all of this together as a group, but more so individually. Peace and love, and trust me, I will be back.